Hello everyone, my name is Samantha Woody, and today we will be discussing Apple Incorporated's strategic opportunity in wearable technology. This strategic opportunity is brought to you by the consulting firm LaFime, comprised of team members Audrey Lees, Tina Soul, Samantha Woody, and Chelsea Summerlin. To start us off, we will jump into some of the company's history. Apple Incorporated was first started in 1976 in Stephen Jobs' garage in California. With the help of his friend Stephen Wozniak, they created the first ever Apple device, the Apple I computer. From there, the company has grown substantially. They now offer a wide variety of products, software, digital content, and applications. Everything from laptops to desktop computers and smartphones to smartwatches, Apple uses its own software and applications to run their devices. They have also increased the areas in which they do business. Apple products can be found in the United States, Europe, and Asia Pacific. While they have grown, one thing has remained the same in their strategy, using their own software and technology to create premium products. Now I'll turn things over to Tina, who will go over our research findings on how we came to our strategic opportunity of wearable technology.
Thanks, Stephanie. With information obtained through extensive research into Apple's internal and external business environment, we developed the following charts of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. With that information, we rated each item on the company's overall success in approaching each item and assigning a weight representing the level of importance to overall health of the company. So when we dig a little deeper and we look at our internal and external factors analysis, we dig into our strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities. A strong strength we found was their research and development. They have increased their spending by $2.65 billion from 2017 to 2018. And in the past, we found that when Apple is coming up with new products, they do increase this, and it leads to successes such as the Apple Watch. A weakness we found is they're dependent right now on the iPhone and iPad sales. 69.8% of all sales are reliant on iPhone and iPad. One of our opportunities we identified was augmented reality devices. Right now the market is comparable to $2.92 billion accessory market for the video game and VR technology. And we found that there are several iPhone and iPad models designed specifically for augmentation reality experience. And we hope to pair these two together. So when looking at the potential opportunities available to Apple, as well as the strengths that will help them succeed at the new opportunity, smart wearable technology like augmented reality glasses was the only way to go. With Apple having a strong research and development team and an ever-increasing yearly budget, we figured this was our opportunity we needed to help them be successful, and that would be their strategic opportunity. How would this look? Well, we picture AI, artificial intelligence, which Apple has in abundance with Siri. It's embedded in all Apple products, and Siri is able to perform a variety of human-like tasks with a simple voice command. We pair that with glasses, augmented reality glasses, and there's three things we think would be really beneficial for the world when this happens. Construction worker would be building something, and he would need a measurement. He would just need to look at the board and ask Siri what the measurements he needs or what he could get out of a board. Surgery would be another example. We imagine a doctor doing surgery and every organ, muscle, and ligament is clearly labeled as they work. The doctor says, Siri, highlight all major organs, and without taking their hand off the patient, they're able to see what they need to see in order to be successful. And learning is a given. Students would be able to picture what they need by asking Siri or seeing like real life things happen. So learning, we think, would be enhanced. And we believe with Apple's strength, where they could create an attractive design and they can use intense marketing, and their retail presence is so well known that they have created such a loyal fan base that is quick to accept their new products. We believe that they would be very successful at introducing this. Like all their products, these glasses will connect and communicate with all the Apple customers and their products. And we think that they will become a leading in this industry because they will not only make it a very pleasing product to the eye, but it will be very beneficial. And now I'd like Samantha will go over implementation.
Thank you. First, we will go over the implementation timeline. The company's goal is to have the eyeglasses complete within 2 years. From there, the product will be released and evaluation will be done in 18 months. The company has chosen to do the evaluation after 18 months in order to collect enough feedback on how the product is doing and what could be done better. One of the first things that will be done is obtaining a patent. Then, the research and development group will meet and begin brainstorming ideas for the eyeglasses design and software. From there, key leaders in software, hardware, and artificial intelligence design will work with the respective teams to put the glasses together. After the product has come together, the company will do an exclusive release. According to an article on Macworld, this is something the company has done in the past with its iPhone X and releasing it to famous YouTube stars. This release allowed consumers to get excited about new products and see how it works by seeing it used in the YouTube videos. This will be important for eyeglasses since it is the newest wearable technology of its kind. Now we'll go ahead and jump into the marketing side. For the marketing side of things, the company will be focusing on its normal product, placement, promotions, and price lineup. For Apple's products, they have a wide variety, like Mac computers, iPhones, iPads, and the iWatch, making the glasses a perfect addition to the already existing lineup. Eyeglasses fit in perfectly with the company's vertical integration. When set up by users, they can have their phone, glasses, watch, and computer share all of the same information. As for placement, one of the major places that the glasses will need to be available is in the Apple stores. Here, employees can show customers how the glasses work. The company should also have it available through their online store and other authorized sellers such as Best Buy. To promote the product, the company can use personal selling and their television ads, as well as introducing and hinting at the new device during public events. For pricing, Apple uses a premium pricing strategy for their products. While this is seen as a weakness because competitors like Samsung offer lower cost smartphones, it can also be used as an advantage. In the case of the eyeglasses, they will be the first technology of their kind, making it premium price worthy. Customers who are interested in having the best technological devices will be willing to pay the premium price. Now I will turn things over to Audrey, who will go over the evaluation of this project.
Hello everyone, this is Audrey and I'm going to walk you through our evaluation process. In order for the company to estimate its return on investment for eyeglasses, we have to know a couple of things. First, how much is it going to cost? And second, what will it eventually be worth? It's impossible to measure those things exactly since there's a lot of information that we don't have. For example, Apple acquired an augmented reality lens maker, but the information wasn't made public. We don't know how much they paid for the company or what that company's own revenues and expenses are. So in order to predict the most accurate return on investment, we decided to look at something we could measure. Since research and development would likely be Apple's most significant investment in any new product, we decided to use that in our ROI equation. Our plan is to release eyeglasses to the public at the start of Apple's 2021-2022 fiscal year. So for the investment, we needed a reasonable estimate for how much the company would spend on eyeglasses research and development in 2019 and 2020 before the product debuts. While analyzing Apple's last two 10Ks, we found that R&D expense was consistently 5% of net total sales year after year, for the last 4 years at least. So, if we could project the company's net total sales in the years to come, we would also be able to project the relative R&D expense. As you can see here, the average growth in net total sales from 2015 to 2018 was 5%. Here, we applied that 5% growth rate to sales data in the most recent fiscal year to project net total sales in the years to come. Since we know that R&D is typically 5% of those totals, we projected the total R&D expense for those years as well. Next, we needed to estimate how much of the R&D budget the company allocates to each product category. So, using data from the last 3 fiscal years, we calculated the average percent of net total sales for each product. Based on the assumption that Apple would allocate R&D resources proportionate to product sales volume and revenue, we can now estimate future R&D budget allocations for each. But as you can see, the iPhone typically makes up about 63% of Apple's total sales revenue. With the market for smartphones maturing and iPhone sales declining, it doesn't make sense to continue putting that much R&D into it. We chose to drop that budget by 43%, invest 20% into eyeglasses, and divide the other 23% between the services and other categories. With our net total sales projections and our R&D budgets established, we can now calculate our investment in eyeglasses based on its budgeted research and development expense in 2019 and 2020, which came to an estimated $5.7 billion. Now, we need to look at how much revenue eyeglasses will bring into the company for the return part of our equation. In our research, we found a market analysis report projecting that the market for smart glasses specifically would grow from 150,000 units shipped and $138.6 million in 2016 to 22.8 million units shipped and $14.78 billion in 2022. We based our sales estimates on this information, but first we needed to estimate what Apple's share of this market will be. Considering Apple's strengths in R&D, marketing, design, loyal customer base comprised largely of product testers, and the level of success they already have in the market for other wearable technology, we believe that Apple would reasonably secure 75% of the market upon release of eyeglasses. With that, we can estimate that Apple will sell 17.1 million units in the 2022 fiscal year. Then we set a price target of $999, which is in line with Apple's premium pricing strategy and comparable to current products. At that price, Apple's gross revenue from eyeglasses sales would be $17.1 billion in the first year after release. However, we can't plug that into our ROI formula just yet. We also have to consider other business expenses. For that, we felt the best way to measure success was by using operating income provided by eyeglasses. We have already projected future sales revenue and R&D expense, but still need to determine cost of sales as well as selling, general, and administrative expenses. Once again, we looked at historical data. Looking at Apple's income statements from 2016 to 2018, we were able to determine the average of net total sales the company spends in each expense category, excluding research and development, since we've already projected and adjusted that budget for each product. So by applying the 3-year average cost of sales, gross margin, and selling, general, and administrative expenses to total eyeglasses sales, we estimated the product's operating income would be 14% of total sales at $2.3 billion, which we used as the current value of investment in the ROI equation. We weren't surprised to find a negative return on investment in year 1, which is typical for an investment of this nature. To make a fair estimate of the return on investment in this case, we took it a step further by estimating eyeglasses revenue for 4 years following their release. And to do this, we had to predict growth in the market for smart glasses. Using information obtained from the previous market report, we calculated the average year-after-year market growth. However, for due diligence sake, we also analyzed data from the market for wearable technology in general, which we found to have a more conservative growth rate. We felt that this rate was more reasonable for the years to follow and applied it to the next 4 fiscal years ending in 2025. Based on Apple's 75% market share and our $999 price target, we were then able to project eyeglasses operating income and calculate return on investment for the same 4 years. In this table, you can see that our return on investment would be about 61% by 2024. This will be our goal in measuring the product's overall success. We used the same concept of analyzing historical data to establish eyeglasses unit sales goals on a quarterly basis. Again, we looked at total annual sales in each of the 3 prior fiscal years, but this time we calculated the quarterly average. For example, you can see that Apple's first quarter sales make up 34% of total annual sales. This probably has a lot to do with the fact that the company's first fiscal quarter is the last calendar quarter and includes the holiday shopping season. Once we establish the quarterly percent of net total sales, we then apply those percentages to our annual forecasts for the 4 years following eyeglasses release, and now we have a basis for measuring unit sales success from quarter to quarter, which, if achieved, will lead up to a 61% return on investment by 2024 with even greater potential going forward. And now we're going to go back to Tina, who's going to discuss our control section.
So looking at control, we want to know if our implementation idea is going to be feasible or if there's some improvements we need to make on it. When we look at the timeline that we've come up with for our production of our Apple eyeglasses, we want it to be successful in a 3-year period. Well, the only comparison we have to this is the Apple Watch production time, and we have to go by assumption. So we know when the patent was filed in 2011 in August, and we know when they released the Apple Watch was in 2015 in September. So in between, we've got to assume some of this stuff went on, and we're going to try to mimic that with our eyeglasses. We believe that the 5-year timeline happened because Apple is getting better at launching their new products, and we feel that 5 years probably improved what they came up with when they came up with the iPhone and iPad. And we believe from their learning from the Apple Watch, they will be able to come up with a 3-year program to introduce the Apple eyeglasses. So as you can see, the timeline kind of matches up a little bit. We're compressing it and hope that we can be successful with this. So if you look at how Apple introduced their Apple Watch, one of the things we noted was the release date to the upgrade date. They released the Apple Watch, and then a year later they released the next generation watch. And we're going to mimic this with the release of our eyeglasses as they did with their Apple Watch. And here's an example of what we think should be introduced and discontinued as they do. They would release the eyeglasses, we'll call it Generation 1, September 2001. They'll be getting feedback on the product, feedback, complaints, whatever you want to call them. They're going to get all this coming back to what they could do to improve the eyeglasses. And they're going to take that feedback from December to March of 2001, and they're going to into March 2002, and they're going to start implementing their new ideas, seeing what they need to do to make the eyeglasses even better than they were when they originally released them. And from this, they're going to gather these feedback. In March to July, we believe they're going to work on this. They're going to upgrade the eyeglasses so that they're more what the customer wants, or more what would work better than their original. So then they would release these upgraded eyeglasses, and we'll call them Generation 2, September 2022. They'll gather their feedback again on the product from December to March, finding out what was good and bad about the new release of the glasses, what they lacked, because customers always have ideas for you. They're going to start implementing these new eyeglasses, these new ideas to the eyeglasses from the feedback of March to July. And then when they do that, they're going to upgrade and they're going to release it, let's call it Generation 3. But at the same time, they're going to discontinue Generation 1, just like they did with the Apple Watch, so that it's cheaper on their production, and it also makes it to where they can only buy what's out there. Apple doesn't have to keep producing a Generation 1 and taking production time, but also at the same time, they're not selling the old product. They're able to sell the new product at a higher price. So it's a good strategy on Apple, and we think that they should do the same thing when they release the eyeglasses too. So with that, we're going to go to Chelsea to succeed and failure.
We feel that Apple will be able to successfully launch eyeglasses. Our research clearly shows the growing demand for augmented reality and wearable technology. The market is expected to be worth $34 billion by 2020. With the growing demand and Apple's reputation as a producer of luxury products, the market is ripe for the taking. Apple has a strong customer loyalty base that almost fanatically buys the newest and latest of their products. Their marketing success for products such as the iPhone X, with pre-releases to celebrities and influencers, only drives that fan base. The glasses technology market is in its infancy, but if Apple can be the first to create stylish, usable eyeglasses, its success could rival that of the Apple Watch or even the iPhone. Beyond the luxury status of the eyeglasses, it will also be easy for businesses to see the benefits of glasses that can take measurements and scan areas. Not only can Apple market them as a luxury item, but also as one with many practical and business functions. This functionality will broaden our customer base and increase the likelihood of successful sales. All in all, we believe that the eyeglasses will be another successful venture into the wearable technology market for Apple. And finally, for what we learned, Audrey most realized is that a business strategy is an intricate system with many moving parts requiring expertise in a range of areas. It is unlikely that one person could fully develop and implement a successful business strategy. What Tina learned through this process is that a strong financial knowledge is key to the success of a strategy opportunity project. The process was a huge undertaking, but by doing it, we now understand what a company goes through just to figure out if launching a new product is worth the effort. For myself, I learned about the importance of a good team, especially in the areas of research and development. Creativity fosters best in group settings where people can bounce ideas off of one another and see how different perspectives can influence creativity and development. Samantha found that it was important to exhaust all options, even the ones that did not make the most sense, so we could come to one that was strategic for the company. Throughout her business courses, she learned this is an important part of the brainstorming process, but she had never seen it put to work prior to this project.